Okay, so I wanted to go over a couple of things that I've been thinking about UFOs, about aliens, things like that. And I don't really have any answers. I'm wide open to a lot of possibilities. Having a conversation with a guy on Twitter lately about why would it be a better thing not to disclose everything right now? Like why shouldn't we know? Why don't we have a right to know? And things like that. Why is somebody policing our right to know? Why is somebody deciding for us whether or not we should know or not? Sorry about my eyes. Got a bunch of spider webs in my eyes last night looking for snakes, and these spider webs are just horrible on my eyes. I'm allergic to them, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, talking to him and trying to come up with the right question to ask about, or the right answer rather, like why shouldn't we know everything? Why shouldn't right now the government come clean with absolutely everything they have? And if they really don't know what this phenomenon is, if they really don't know what the aliens are and why they're here and everything like that, you would think they would open it right up, and that's what people are thinking. These ufologists and people that are just interested in the topic, like me and a bunch of guys on Twitter and everywhere else, people that follow the videos of the ufologists, we just look at it and say, man, why can't you just open the whole damn thing up now? Let's hear everything. We can handle it. The world can handle it, is what I hear a lot. And I just keep coming back to the idea, and I'm not a negative person at all. My whole life is positive. Every single day I wake up, just happy to give it another shot, and make the most of the day. I don't sit here and dwell about anything negative. My daughter will tell you that I'm the happiest guy, maybe. Oh, well, I think I'm the happiest guy in our family. Okay, so what I think and what I'm thinking is that it's negative. I just see there's an undercurrent. There's everybody that's talking about UFOs that really knows something. So like Jacques Vallée, like George Knapp, maybe Linda Moulton-Howe, some of the real insiders like the astronauts and things like that. Most of these people mention at some point there's a dark side to this. There's something under the surface that appears negative, and that's why it's not coming out. So what could that possibly be? People say that, I've heard this so much and it's just so flawed. People say, or maybe it's just what they want to cling to, but people say, if they wanted to kill us, they would have killed us by now. They've been here since real heavily since 1947, but before that as well. If they wanted to kill us, they'd have already done it. They'd have already taken over the world. But I don't see any logic in that at all. I don't. These things, these beings, or this force, or this intelligence, or whatever it is, I wouldn't think that it operates on the same time scale as us. I wouldn't think that time really means much to them, because I think that they've likely reached the singularity, or maybe they were the underlying intelligence that created this entire game that we're playing right now. But if that's true, if they have an infinite life, or at least close, if they have, maybe they live for a million years or something like that. They've been here since 47, to us, that's what, 53, 71 years. That's nothing compared to a million years, right? So we might be on this we might be a long-term project, in our eyes, but in their eyes, it's just like, we got to do it over the course of 100 years, which is 1/10 of 1% of a million years. And it doesn't mean anything to them. So if they gradually implement this plan over 100 years, we'll see it as like, oh, we're safe, They've been here since 47. They've already been here 71 years. If they wanted to kill us, they would have done it already. I don't see that at all. I think that's just a human perspective that doesn't mean anything to me at all. I think that it's quite possible that, and we would never know. It's not like they would ever tell us. It's not like anybody in the UFO community, even at the highest, even somebody that thinks they know what's going on here, that might actually know. Maybe they've even interacted with aliens already, and spoke to them and somehow communicated with them. Maybe even made deals with them. Maybe come to some agreement, or maybe somehow they've had some interactions and they think that they know what's going on. The Indians, thought that Columbus, when he came, they thought they knew what was going on as well. I mean, and that's not even different intelligences, Those are people of the same intelligence, the range, right? So what I think is that we just came into the technological revolution, right, over the last, let's say, 100 years. So I think the cosmos has been around, I think it's 13, 14, 15 billion years, is it? I think it's 13 billion for some reason. And then our Earth has only been around for, say, I'm really guessing, I think it's like 4 billion years. I'm not that far off, I know it's something like that. Our Earth has been around for like 4 billion years, but there's other planets and there's other suns and there's other galaxies in our universe that have been around for 9 billion years earlier than us, is what it means. And 9 billion years is a hell of a lot of years. The chance that other intelligences that are coming here and interacting with us now are only at our same level is really, 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 really small. You could kind of figure it out by taking like 100 years of the last 100 years of our technological development. Let me see if I can do it on a time scale. The Earth is created here. We're way over here at the end. This is 2018. This is, let's say, 1918. These last 100 years, we've really made progress, right? From here to here, any civilization before us is in this range. I mean, they're in all this range, right? But this goes back 4 billion years. This is 100 years. So this is really like a millimeter, and this is like 6 miles. It's a rough guess. But this is like 6 miles away down the, I don't have an arm that long, but it's like 6 miles down the road. This is like a millimeter. The chance that they're in this 6 miles and not in this millimeter is so much far greater than the chance that they're right in that little millimeter just like us, and they're going to be at the same level as us. So what that means is they developed before us. It only took us, 20, 30,000 years or so, 50,000 years maybe, to develop to what we are from when we split with the apes. So it wouldn't take somebody that long. Their whole course of development can be like this big, and they can reach to where we were already, maybe 3 billion years before, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 billion years before us. And maybe today maybe their intelligence lives on. So they're almost absolutely, you can say it's like hitting the lotto if these intelligences were on the same level as us. So they are more advanced They are probably tremendously more advanced than us. They are probably, I mean, I don't know how to explain, like light years ahead of us. They are like, they are whole eons ahead of us, many, many millions of eons ahead of us. And so, when they communicate with us, we don't know the slightest thing about them. We don't, I mean, they may appear like some sort of being, you know, maybe to make us happy, like, so we can look at something and say, oh, that's a tangible thing, you know, we can deal with that, we can talk to it, we can, whatever they want us to do, communicate with it somehow, and this thing wouldn't like totally blow our minds. But in reality, it might be just an intelligence. It might be just it might be a force. It might reside in dark energy. You know, it might be all over it might be covering the entire universe, and maybe it does. You know, I would almost say probably it does. But it might be everywhere, and yet we see it as this thing, as an alien, as like as aliens coming in spaceships. Because we think they have to, you know, for a human to look at it, it's much easier for us to take if we see like something fly through the air, land, and actual beings get out, than if, like my case, I had a ball of light come through a window, like a ball of like the whitest light I've ever seen, come through the window and like hover in front of over the bed in my hotel. And that was a mind blower, all right. But even so, that wasn't even way off the charts, you know. That wasn't like seeing a thing come in the hotel, come into my head, expand my head. You know, I mean, the things that this intelligence could do are just we can't even think of them. I couldn't even think of something like too crazy, but anyway, I think they're that far ahead of us. They're so far ahead of us. Now, what could they possibly want to do here over 100 years? Say it's a 100-year plan. Say it's a 1,000-year plan. What could they possibly want to do where they're not killing us now, and yet they're gonna kill us or eat us or enslave us or whatever later? Like what could be that plan? It could be something just as simple as that, like make our presence. Let's make our presence known for 100 years. Gradually, we'll increase. More people will see us. You know, right now, millions of people have probably seen UFOs. So many people are saying they've actually been abducted. You know, but maybe that's the phenomenon, the intelligence, like playing with our minds, just as this process of build up over the course of time, over the course of their projected plan or whatever it is. They can be preparing us. Maybe they're gradually eliminating something in our environment that bothers them. Maybe there's certain pesticides or something, or there's some part of our environment that's negative to them that they can't eat. And so they're gradually eliminating that from our earth without us even knowing what's going on. But they're just gradually eliminating that. And after 100 years, it'll all be gone. And after 100 years, they'll be like, hey, there's nobody with any of that in their system anymore, so let's commence the commence the evening meal. And they might just land. There might be like 6 million saucers come here and just start beaming people up. Just person after person after person, you know, for months. And they could be like storing us to eat. I mean, it could be, that's just one simple, I just thought that up off the top of my head. I never thought about that before. But that's what it could be, something like that. We don't have the slightest idea. Some people say that the aliens care about us. You know, that's why they haven't done it. And I don't see that either, because I see whenever the aliens interact with people, what they're doing for the most part is telling us about the environment. Quit screwing up the environment, focus on the environment, focus on technology, focus on things that make the world better, not necessarily what makes us better. They're not coming down and saying, why don't you begin meditating? They're not saying that. Why don't you clear your minds? Why don't you find a way to calm the mind and create a state of no thought within the head, you know, like meditation can do at very high levels. I mean, at very accomplished levels, I guess you could say. Like, people can do that. Why aren't they saying that? They don't seem to have any interest in that at all. They don't seem to have any emotion about anything at all. They don't come down and like shake their finger at us. They don't scream at us. They don't, I mean, they're not authoritarian in what they're telling and how they're doing this, right? They're not like coming down as a god and saying, thou shalt not do this, and 25 other things. They just come down, occasionally interact with people, if you can believe that. I guess I do. I never had any sort of message from an alien or something like that, but maybe people actually have, because I've had a couple weird things, but nothing like that. But maybe it does happen, you know. I have to open my mind to the idea. Maybe that's what's happening. But when it does happen, like say with the kids in Africa, whenever the UFO and actual beings got out and they gave the kids this idea in their mind that we need to take care of the world. Now, do I believe that? I mean, you can't. That happened years ago, right? I think it wasn't 57. Why am I thinking that date? I think it happened in the 70s or 80s. That's a lot of time that passed. And actually, I think that psychiatrist, I should know his name, I have a master's in psych. It's eluding me right now. But anyway, the guy that went down there and studied them and said, oh yeah, the phenomenon is real, John Mack. I think he was from Stanford or something like that. But he said it's real. The kids are saying that the beings were telling them about the environments or something like that, but I'm not absolutely sure about that, and we can't absolutely be sure about that, because it could be the teachers told them that, somehow got that into their heads about, maybe they all had meetings, I'm sure they talked about it and talked about it and talked about it, and probably, I mean, the teachers probably wanted to believe they were talking about the environment and things like that. This school seemed very progressive. But was that a thing that was implanted into the kids' heads, or did that actually physically and mentally happen to the kids? Did they have their head filled with that message as the alien was giving it to them? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But that isn't the only but that isn't the only time that happened, like a message like that happened. I remember reading many things and seeing many videos about people that said they had direct interactions, and the message was take care of the environment, go toward technology, expand the mind like towards technology and see what's possible, because it seems like there's a lot more possible. And then if you look at the UFOs, what they're actually doing here, as Jacques Vallée thinks, what they're doing is giving us messages. So every interaction with us is a message to us. A sighting of a UFO in the sky over the O'Hare Airport in Chicago, you know, it's visible to many people, to pilots, to air traffic control, to people on the ground, people working at the airport. But they watched it for like 5 minutes before it shot straight up and punched a hole in a cloud, and you could see through the cloud and see where it went, but you had no idea because it just went so fast. What is the message? The message is that technology exists that breaks the rules of your current physics. Get to work and figure out how to do something like this. So why are they giving us that message? We tend to look at this intelligence, these aliens, whatever they are, we tend to look at it as them and us. As you know, like there is no real us on this planet. It's individuals, it's individual groups, societies, it's nations, it's belief systems. You know, we're all in many different groups, and you know, myself, I'm part of like say 10 different groups that believe certain ways about different subjects. Aliens don't have to be one, it doesn't have to be one alien group, and so many times we're not really thinking this way, but there can be 75 different groups coming here individually, like on their own, with their own agenda. It's interesting that none of them have really stepped over the bounds and like overtly physically attacked us. That's interesting. Does that mean that there's some sort of galactic federation, you know, that they're all joined to and they have rules? Like we have United Nations and we want countries to adhere to these rules because this is the way to be with people. This is the way to be humanitarian. This is the way to act as human beings. Maybe they have these sets of rules that say this is the way we act. If you're part of our group, this is what we do. If you're not part of our group, you cannot join. Is it possible that some alien groups just don't join and just are on their own, trajectory, their own plan, their own ideas? Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, so there can be different groups interacting with us. These groups, you know, some of the aliens within this are, some of the aliens that are visiting us may be helpful. Some may be, I don't think there were too many that were friendly, like overtly friendly. They don't show emotions, so there's no like, hi, how you doing? What's your name? You know, my name's this. They want something from us, it seems. They don't come here and just be friends and talk to us a little bit and then go. It does happen. But and maybe there is that group. So let's even say that there is, because I think I can remember a saucer landed and gave a guy pancakes, supposedly. Buckwheat pancakes, I think it was. Anyway, so maybe they do exist. Maybe there's another group that wants us to advance our technology. Why? Because maybe they want us to be able to fight another group that might attack us at some point. Maybe they have knowledge about some group that has horrible plans for us in the future, and the faster we get up on technology, we might have the slightest chance of fending them off. Maybe another group of aliens gets off on, and this appears to exist, gets off on fear. As I said, none of them seem to have any emotions. So there are many stories, and especially like at Skinwalker Ranch, maybe at the maybe during the wars, you know, like the World War II, whenever the Foo Fighters apparently started following planes and things. But it's not just that. It's different groups it's different saucers and different machinery in the air that appears to scare the hell out of pilots by flying way too close, by coming at them and then veering, by coming at them and then the plane must veer, like playing chicken. At the Skinwalker Ranch, supposedly there's like this blue light, you know, that when you see the blue light, it's going to be a bad experience, because that thing is trying to make you fearful, and then when you are fearful, it tries to ramp up the fear and make it, you know, insane level. And the researchers there, whether or not any of that is true, it's so hard to guess. It's just like a data point for me. But it might be real. But there are many experiences like this over the years that where the aliens actually, it seems like they try to get you to fear. Or that they're not concerned about your fear at the very minimum, right? Like they pick you up off the street, you know, you just stepped out of your car. They pick you up out of your, after stepping out of your car, they suck you up into a saucer. You wake up and you're on a table, like looking up, and there's like insect eyes like this big looking at your face over your head. I mean, like Travis Walton's experience. That kind of stuff happens so often. I don't know whether it happens or it's in people's heads, but I don't know. But they're obviously not too concerned with our fear levels. Like, they don't do anything. Like, people can actually remember that if they really cared about not scaring us, not giving us some kind of emotional like scars. They would just erase that. They just erase the memories. They surely have that ability by now. If they can communicate with their minds to us, to our mind, they surely can erase our memories. I think that's probably a given. Why don't they? I don't know. It's like they want us to have a certain fear. They want us to have a certain separateness from them, you know, to think of them as them instead of, oh, we're all in this together, like let's kumbaya, let's have a kumbaya moment here. It's not like that. They're always separate from us. You never hear a story about an alien landed, came out, talked to the people or person, said, we're going to team up with you, let's join up, and we're going to show you 25 more ways how to grow corn without doing GMO, you know, type processes. And you don't hear that. There's no teaming up. They're always separate. They come, they stop for a short time, they leave. They're not sticking around. They're not making a schedule to come back like that complete idiot up in, was it Belgium? That guy that people believed for so long. Jacques Vallée said, you know, they asked him about this guy, and he said, oh yeah, well, it was very believable until one time he showed a saucer disappearing. And what apparently the guy didn't realize is that on digital video, whenever you stop it, they put a blank frame in the video, and then so what he did was he stopped the video when he had his little model up there. He stopped the video. It inserted the camera itself inserted a blank frame right there. Then he started the video again to show that, oh, this thing disappeared like instantly like that. But he was showing, Jacques Vallée was watching this with some people who were keen on video editing techniques and things like that, and they saw the blank frame in the video, and so they looked at it, they analyzed it and found the blank frame. So what it means is that guy's a complete idiot. Everything that he said, it just kills everything that he ever said. What is that guy's name? He's so famous. Because he just kept coming up with the best pictures anybody's ever seen, the best video, the craziest stories. Like he was on a schedule to meet with these guys like over and over and over and over. He got such fame out of it, and it was all bullshit. Anyway, so they come and they go. They set the rules. For some reason, they're separate from us, and that's the way they want it to be. That's the way it will be, I guess. What else did I want to say? Oh, I wanted to talk just real quickly about, this is going everywhere, right? But I hope it will be kind of interesting to listen to as I go from thing to thing to thing. Some people say that there is no way in the world there can be any being inside a saucer that does a 90-degree turn like that, and where there should be like thousands of G's of force, you know, that should kill whatever it is. It's only looking from our perspective. I mean, surely we can make, I'm sure we can make gel. I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can make a gel that fleshes out like a body. We can make tubes of silicone or whatever it is. We can put it all under pressure and stick it in a body. Like I'm trying to simulate like these alien bodies that are here, that are in these craft, at least sometimes. They have a head which maybe it doesn't have a brain. It has a computer brain. It has a chip, and that's the brain. You can subject electronics to many G's, even when they're not even created to resist. You know, created to resist the forces. Like your computer, you can probably go like this, you know, and subject it to like 30-40 G's, but it'll be fine. It's not. Electronics are so strong because they're steel and silicone and very hard plastic, and when you change direction on them, it's, you know, the weight of what they are, switching direction is not going to like break the metal contact or something. So if you actually thought about it when you designed electronics, you can have them withstand thousands of G's. It's not that big a deal. And if you are a billion years ahead of us, you could surely do that. So this idea that an alien cannot be inside the spaceship, the saucer, as it's doing weird movements, doesn't really mean anything to me. It just it could simply be a computer chip. Because the reason we die, like when we would suffer that, is because our brains would smash against our skull and destroy our brain. Because our brain is the nerve center, right? It's the computer. But when you have a chip that doesn't smash against a hard surface, it's just surrounded by gel maybe. What could be the thing? These aliens could be like smushed like they could be smushed like what are those things? There were these gel things that you could smush like anything. But they could be like smushed up against the side of the craft, like with every like hard turn like that, and just be fine. Like be just like they just go back to shape. So anyway, there was something else. What the hell was it?